Hey guys, welcome back. Guys, if you're new to the channel, I'd love to have you with us. Please hit that subscribe button. I hope all you guys are having a great summer. As for me, I'm just sweltering. Here in South Carolina, it's been about, well, I'd say in the low 90s all week, and the humidities have been about in the high thousands. No, seriously though. I guess with this heat, it's probably not a real good time to start playing with fire, but I decided to start smoking. I know. Not that kind of smoking. So guys, for years and years and years, I've always really wanted to get into smoking meats. I've never smoked anything at all. This is going to be my first foray into the world of smoking. I messed around on a charcoal grill. I did a little bit of, you put some wood chips off to one side and put a rack of ribs on the other side and slow cook them, and that came out great. But this is, true an offset smoker where they call them stick burners. You have your different flavored woods or smoke woods going in the firebox off to the side. The smoke comes up into the main chamber and engulfs your meat in smoke, and you slow cook over a long period of time to develop really awesome flavors. Never done it before, so it's going to be a learning experience for me. I've done a whole bunch of research on it in terms of what smoker I want to buy and how to go about getting into it, and just learning a lot in general. But like anything else, whether you call it a hobby or a craft, I'm sure there's about a bazillion more things I have to learn, so maybe we'll learn some stuff together. So come over here, let me get you turned around, I'll show you what we got. So guys, the smoker itself is made by a company called Oklahoma Joe's, and it's called their Highland series. Now, there's a lot of different types of smokers out there. There's a lot of choices that you can go with. You kind of have choices between getting something that's store-bought, and then beyond that, you're getting into custom smokers or having something built for you, or building something yourself. I certainly think that there's probably a lot better quality smokers to be had going the later route, but for somebody who's just getting into smoking, I wanted to go with something store-bought that didn't have to invest a ton of money up front, but I also didn't want to buy something that's really cheap and junky that I'm not going to get much use out of. This Oklahoma Joe series of smokers is not the best smoker that you can buy in the world, obviously, but I think in terms of the store-bought stuff that's readily available, it's probably at the upper end of what's available to us lay people when it comes to smoking. Price of the grill was about $350, if I remember correctly, $349 with tax. So not a cheap purchase by any stretch of the imaginations, but I think very reasonable for the build quality and what you're going to get. Now, as with anything that is not of professional quality, there's going to have to be some sacrifices, or there's things that you can do in terms of modifications to make it better or more acceptable. Some of the things you can see here, I went ahead and purchased. So this is a gasket that goes around the door from a company called Fire Black, and you can see like these doors don't exactly seal completely tight the channel. This one, they had 5 on display. This one was actually pretty tight, so I picked this one. I was pleased with that, but I don't really want to have much smoke loss, so I'm going to go ahead and use some of this gasket around the door seal. Other things that we purchased is a sealant. I used to work on cars a lot, so this is kind of a similar type of thing. It's an RTV, which is like a silicone sealant, but this is a food safe product, and it's meant to seal your openings and cracks and creases and seams. It is a black premium silicone sealant for barbecue smoker and wood stoves, so it's a food safe black colored sealant. So a huge part of smoking is temperature control, and what you will need for that is a good thermometer and set of probes. I found this online. This is a company called Inkbird. It's a smart wireless barbecue thermometer. It comes with 4 probes and a digital LED screen, and you can link it to your smartphone. Seemed to get some good reviews, but kind of excited about this. Along to go with that, I got some of these grommets. You drill a hole in the side of the smoke chamber, and you slip these in there, and there's a little tiny tight sealing hole where you can slip the probes through, so that you don't have to leave them tucked under the door when you're smoking your meat. You probably lose some smoke that way too. So it's kind of like the firewall in a car where you have a rubber grommet and the wires will slip through, and you get the idea. On to more temperature control. It comes with one thermostat right here, you can see, and then there's a little bung with a bolt in it that is made to accept a second one. So we purchased a second one. The point of this is that as your smoke travels from the firebox through the actual chamber, it'll go from left to right, so that there's going to be a temperature difference from this side to this side. So, you know, I think by having 2 gauges set up, one on either side, you'll have a much better, you know, sense of what's going on inside the actual smoke chamber. Some other things we purchased are silly. It's just got a cover so we can keep our investment nice and not have it, you know, we're under this lean-to over here, which will keep the rain off of it, but you know, it's right next to the garden and it's going to kick up dirt and dust, and you will get some overspray from rain coming in here and whatnot, plus the you know, irrigation from the garden. So keeping it covered is always a good thing. So we got, you know, cover for the grill, for the smoker, excuse me. Weber charcoal chimney starter over there, so we can start our coals. And I think that's about it. Well, we got some lump charcoal and some wood chunks just to get started. But for right now, the first step in any of this is going to be, well, I'm kind of confused about that actually. They say you have to season the smoker first, which is basically coating it in a high temperature oil that has a high smoke point and burning it in and giving it a nice coating of oil on it. But I also kind of got to seal everything up, so I'm not so sure if I should seal it first and then go ahead and do my burn-in, my seasoning, or if I should season it and then go ahead and put my gaskets on and all that. I think I'm going to put the gaskets on first, because if I get it all coated with oil and that stuff gets baked on there, I think maybe I might have a problem with gaskets sticking. So even though I don't know where the smoke's going to leak out of yet, I'm going to go ahead and do my seal now, and then we could always make any corrections after the fact if we have any smoke leakage. So let's go ahead and start getting this thing sealed up. So I was showing you guys, when I picked out this grill specifically out of the 5 they had, this side of the door fits really flush and tight along with the bottom. I mean, there's no play in it at all if you push on it. So I'm pretty happy with that seal. But you know, I'll still go ahead and put gasket seal on it just in case. Over on this side a little bit, you can see there's a little bit of a difference. Let me get you turned around. Just a little bit there. You see that gap? So, you know, that's where that gasket's going to come in handy and maybe seal that up a little bit better. Let me get this sucker opened up. Spanking new. And we're going to go ahead and put our gasket sealer on this lip. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and just take some paper towel and basic isopropyl alcohol here. Out of here. Alright, so we got that on. You know, call me crazy, but I think that's really just very thick felt with an adhesive back on it. Can't really judge it, don't know how well it'll work yet, obviously, until we get it fired up a few times, but looks like it'll help out. Well, with that in mind, I don't think I'm going to do the firebox door because it is super tight as it is. Feels really nice and flush, so I don't think I'm going to do that. I am going to seal this joint right here with RTV, and then around the seam of the firebox, if memory serves, you can kind of see daylight through it. So for sure, we're going to have to seal that up with the RTV. We'll definitely lose smoke throughout that seam. So I think I'm going to do the same thing here. Take a little bit of alcohol and paper towel and just go around that seam. Alright, so our firebox is nicely sealed up. I think the last thing I'm going to do is the outside of this smokestack over here. Alright, so our smokestack is all sealed up on the outside. I'm going to go ahead, I took this bung off, the second bung for our temperature probe, or our thermometer rather, so I'm going to go ahead and get this threaded in there. Looking good. Okay, so it's getting kind of late. I'm sweating bullets. This sealant needs to set up. I don't want to burn in this thing and season it and get a fire going while the silicone's still wet, so I'm going to go ahead, call it a day, and through the magic of internet time, I'll be right back. See? That wasn't that bad, was it? Alright, so our seal is nice and dried up good. Happy with how that came out. So I think we are ready to get a fire going and start burning this in. First thing we need to do though is get this nice and coated up with some oil that has a high smoke point. We're going to be using peanut oil for this. So you could use any high temperature oil for this, something that has a high smoke point. I think avocado oil would be good. Grapeseed oil would be another good one. Peanut oil has a high smoke point, so plus I have it on hand, so we're going to roll with that. So I'm going to begin by taking these grates out and just stacking them on the side. Then we're going to take our peanut oil and coat the entire inside, top of the lid and the barrel itself. Alright, so the inside and the lid is coated up pretty good. We're going to go ahead and coat these grates now, and for that I'm not going to use the towel anymore. I'm going to go ahead and use our Nature Made tools. Alright, so our grates are nicely coated, drum is coated, the lid is coated, and hey, out of the garden you three. Hey, come on, tell your story walking. Go on, that's it. So last thing to do is coat this firebox. Again? You guys are gonna get it. Alright guys, we are just about ready to light a fire here. So what I've done, this is through a bunch of other YouTube videos that I've seen in some research. I really like this grate configuration here. What I've seen people do is lay your bottom grate across the bottom. You have airflow for your fire. And they've taken the other two grates that were inside the grill compartment and put them on a V angle. I really like that idea because I feel like you're going to concentrate all of your hot coals down towards the center, and it'll keep your fire lit longer. I mean, I subscribe to that theory. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but it kind of makes sense to me. So let's go ahead and light a fire and see how it works out. I'm using these Royal Oak tumbleweed fire starters. I think they're kind of a neat deal. Now for our charcoal, I decided to go with the Kamado Joe Big Block charcoal. I like the idea of this because it's like really large pieces of natural charcoal as opposed to little tiny coal briquettes that you would use. I mean, if you get a look inside that bag, you can see it's real nice, solid lump, hardwood charcoal. My theory is that's going to give us a longer burning fire and a more natural smoke. So, again, I don't know what I'm talking about. This is just my theory, but that's what we're going with. Alright, so our fire's going. We're quickly coming up the temp here. And as I suspected, if you remember, we looked at the top part of our seam and the right side and the bottom. It all looks pretty good, and we do not have any smoke leakage from any of that. So that gas is sealed, and the natural fit of this cover is doing good. We do have some escaping on this side. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I think I will be getting those little clamps that mount here, and they push down on the door to make a firmer seal. We have no leakage around our smokestack, which is good. But our firebox, I did not seal that, and it is leaking pretty good from that door. So I may go ahead and seal that with the same black Permatex, the RTV stuff. And what I might do is put a bead of it around there, and then put some saran wrap over it and close the door. Not now, obviously. And that might form fit it to the door, and I'll peel the saran wrap off once it dries. Alright, there we go. Our temps where we want them. We've got our thin blue smoke coming out. So, we're going to let this go for 2 or 3 hours, and that's going to complete the seasoning project of our brand new Oklahoma Joe's Highland offset stick burner. So guys, with, a little over 1,300 subscribers, I'm reasonably sure that some of you guys out there have done this before. I know that some of you guys are probably pretty good at smoking meat, and you've been doing it for quite some time. I don't know what I'm doing. This is all just based on research and stuff that I've watched on YouTube channels just like you guys. So I would really love to hear from you. If you guys have been smoking meat for a while, whether you're a rookie, you're a veteran at it, you're a pro, you're a barbecue pitmaster on TV, whatever the case may be, I'd really love to hear from you guys. If you have any information on, for example, what's the first thing that I should cook on here? I know things like brisket are more difficult to cook. They take a real long time. You know, and I know that the trick to a lot of this is firebox management and temperature management. So what's something that I should try first that's a little bit more forgiving in case I really screw up or something? Something that probably won't take a tremendous amount of time to cook. I would love to hear some ideas. You know, what do you guys like to cook on an offset stick burner? And maybe that will be the next video or video coming up. We'll try your suggestions. We'll go over them, and we'll get some good barbecue going. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. That is the Oklahoma Joe Highland offset stick smoker. I'm really excited. I've always wanted one of these since man, since I was a teenager. I've been wanting to do this, so quite a long time. Anyhow, guys, if you like the video, please comment, like, and subscribe. We could really use all the help we can get. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Thanks and be good.